Hey everyone, here to talk about a toy today, and it's going to be on the Legends Mindwipe figure. So let's get straight on to the video, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Takara Legends Mindwipe. And straight away, I gotta say, I really like the addition on this version compared to the Hasbro's of the red being on the inside of the wings, as it really makes a lot of it pop. I love the purple, I love the black. I think all the colours on this just make me go, ain't that bit tasty, and I want that in my mouth. And by my mouth, I mean my hands, and by that I mean so I can play with it. Around the back, he's still fairly impressive. It's nice that the purple's on the outside. It makes it a bit different. The hands are a wee bit visible for my liking, and the tail's very poo. And it is a bit weird that the red wings are on the back, but that's really for the robot mode, so I can hardly complain too much. In bat mode, there are a few little things that we can do, so how about we look at that articulation. First off, if we zoom into the head, we can see that he has a little mouth, so he can go, meh. And, me. I love the fact that the teeth are painted and he's got red on the inside of the mouth. Again, makes it pop. You can pull the head down if you want, but that's really all the articulation you get from there, which is a bit of a shame. The wings have a lot more oomph to them, because it's got foldy joint here, this being rubbery plastic. We've got a joint here and here, so you can really get a good fold in. You can have him wrap his wings around himself, which is a really neat feature. And if you like, you can even store magnets in the bottom of his feet and have him hang upside down like a real vampire wat. Bleh. The feet also have a bit of articulation if you unpeg the wings, as so. So what can they do? Well, they are the arms, so they have a bicep swivel, and we have a ball joint at the shoulder here, so they can move forward and back a little bit, and they can rotate. Not a huge amount of posing with this, but you get a little bit more, which is always appreciated. And the final thing that's worth mentioning is the cockpit here. I love the different colours on it, and you can open it up, and Vorath is just sitting in there chilling out like a villain. It's always a good idea to get his arms up as well, otherwise he can be a little bit hard to pull out of there. Huh, that was weird. Anyway, Vorath has some nice amount of detail on him, and with the extra paint on his eyes and face, he really does pop compared to the American ones, I feel. Decent amount of detailing, but nothing outside of the ordinary for a Titanmaster. Though I think he has a bit more arm wiggle in these ball joints than in some of the other Titanmasters I've had. So his arms can go a little bit further out to the side than some of the other ones I've had in the past. And his head's on the ball joint and can turn left and right. And he can nod very slightly or headbang if you really go for it, like a crazy person. Now, yeah, he has the double knee bend and the hip joints as well. And it seems like a Japanese thing, but he doesn't have a pin in his hips. So I've had these pop off once or twice before. I don't know why the Japanese didn't add a pin in there, but, you know, whatever. Not a huge deal. It's just something to be aware of. He just feels a little bit looser than he should. But now it's time to take him to robot mode.
You would dare challenge a master of the dark arts. Go! Transform! Head on! The powers of darkness are more powerful than anything science can muster.
Thanks to the way that the wings fold up to become the legs, he's gone from a very red and black robot to a very purple and black robot. Not much of a silhouette for Mindwipe, I do feel, apart from his little bat wings, which do help break up the colours a little bit, being nice and red. But without them, I don't feel he's got a lot of a silhouette to him, which is fine, just something to mention. He does have a big old bat head just kind of hanging off of his back, though, which is a bit of a shame. And if you look at it from the back again, the legs have some big holes in them, but they've tried to cover them up as best they can. And the way that the wings work, I'm not too fussed by it. I do like the head mold on this one a lot more than the Hasbro's one, though there isn't a huge difference between the two if you ask me. So articulation for the robot. Let's start off well with his head, because that just makes sense. Because of the Titanmaster, he can do a decent turning and wibbling and all that jazz. Mine's maybe a little bit looser, but that's mainly because of the Titanmaster ball joint than anything else, and the legs can, you know, come loose while moving them. Moving on to the arms next, we have a few different joints here. So we'll start off with the elbows. We have two joints here for the elbows just because of the transformation. You kind of lock into place just for the bat mode, so it clicks there, and then you can get a double joint here, and it clicks here as well. So there is a double joint in here, but it is a little bit difficult just because of how the clicks work. He has a bicep swivel as well, again thanks to the transformation, and it's surprising that the outside of the joint is there. Usually that's stuck to the inside, and we have the ball joint shoulders, and thanks to this other joint it can go all the way up. So really decent arm articulation, really, which is pretty good. So next up we have, well, the little back wings can flap, or bat wings can flap, depending on, you know, how you prefer them, and as long as they don't get in the way of the little feet. Yeah, it's nice. Waist joint, it's just simple cut and swivel, so that's easy enough to do, and decent for posing. Next up we have the legs. There's nothing really remarkable about the legs, you know, they go forward, they go back, they go out. They do a good split, actually, but I don't show it here. And they've got an okay-ish knee bend, but just because of the shape of the leg, it doesn't really show it off too well. It's a weirdly placed knee, just how it works. We have an ankle joint, but it only goes forward and back, really, for the transformation. It doesn't go left and right, unfortunately. Would have been really nice if it did. And I've heard that the American one is really loose in the ankles. Mine isn't. So that's a benefit to the Japanese one. There's also a thigh cut as well, which I don't show. But yeah, it's a fairly decent leg articulation, really. And that makes Mindwipe a pretty damn decent articulated little figure. Well, yeah, okay, he's got weapons too. He's got his gun. Don't know what that was again, but yeah, there's some issues I had with mine. There was a lot of extra kind of flash on this gun. For instance, on the barrel, I had to like shave it down a little bit. You can't see too well, but I did have to cut some bits off. But it was the scope that was the real problem. It looks like someone kind of cut it off the sprue with a pair of nail clippers more so than anything else, which is a real bummer. I didn't like that too much, but never mind. He can, of course, hold it in his hand if you want him to. Or, if you want, you can peg it into his forearm. I like that. I like the ability to kind of mix and match it up and play around with your figures. Or add even more guns to him, if you've got extra ones bobbing about, of course. He's got his tail here, which is switched to a weird, I don't know, claw gun thingy. It's fine. The handle can move, and that's for its other mode. Or you can flip down those things and turn it into a blaster, and it doesn't look great as that. Or you can peg the gun in, if you like, and add an extra weapon to it. And you know, if you take the head off and put him in the seat, and there you go. It's some, I don't know, boat thing. It's weird. It's not a great vehicle, but hey, playability, children's minds, and all that jazz. Yes, anyway, you can also use this little thing as a shield. It's my preferred thing. I think it looks a bit awkward otherwise. If I put it like that, I think it looks like a pretty decent shield guard, like to shoot bullets. Like down here, I don't know, it sticks out a bit too far and doesn't look like a great gun. Here, like I say, it could be used to deflect energy blasts and whatnot, and I think it's the way it looks best, at least in my eyes anyway. But we've also got this little extra dude, who of course can become a gun, and this is the gun mode. It's fine, it's exactly what previous iterations have been of this mold, and it's been out a few times at this point. Transforms exactly the same, so we'll just quickly go over and put him into the Chimera mode, I guess, maybe? The weird bird thing. You know, flip up these pieces and flip out the wings. And the main selling point for this version, at least for me anyway, is the colours. I love red, I love black, and I think it looks great. I mean, it looks rough from the back still, but that's just how the mold is, really, more so than anything else. In dinosaur mode, he looks really good, especially with the red and black, comparing him to the first version of the mold. Granted, he has purple arms, which is a little bit weird and doesn't really mesh up. But he looks great. One thing the original one has is, because the legs here have teeth on, it kind of works better than that. But overall, I just think it looks better, but that's my bias of colours and whatnot. So, yeah, you've been devoured through better colouring. And that's it, guys. This is my preferred version of Mindwipe. I think it looks better with the paint apps. I like the head mold. I like the little dinosaur he comes with. Overall, it just feels like a good, complete package. It's also, luckily, one of the cheap ones that have come out, or is on the secondary market at the moment. So, I recommend it. I think he's a lot of fun. He's not without flaws, of course, but what toy is? I mean, there are problems here and there, but that's you know, what happens with Transformers. I mean, what else can I say? But you should buy this toy. It's the best. The best.